club face stuff, some club path, and like angle of approach. I know there's a lot of big words in that. I'm gonna try to explain it to everybody. All right. So first thing I wanted to explain is the club face angle, and that's something we kind of worked on last week, where I talked about how putting it in the back of your stance and the front of your stance, right? So the club face is going to change whether you hit it in the back of your stance or whether you hit it in the front of your stance. If you're hitting it in the back of the stance, the club face angle is going to be pressed forward because you're going to be hitting the ball sooner. But if you hit it in the front of your stance, club face angle is going to be a little more open. You're going to have more loft to it. That's why it goes higher in the air. If that makes sense? So the club face angle is also the way you turn it, right? Whether you come in and you close it, or even you open it, right? So it's also the same thing with the path. Sometimes people have a very outside to in path, and that creates a very closed club face, right? And one of the last things then is I want to explain with what you guys are doing is when you were taking those shots, I want you guys to think about loft, right? Some of you guys are having issues with getting it higher in the air, and that has to do with where you're placing it in your stance again, right? So I just want you guys to really think about what I've said and how it affects your golf game. So not to point anybody out or anything, but for me, when I take a shot, I'm basically pointing myself out here. When I take a shot, I like to put the ball sometimes a little forward in my stance. Get a little more loft with the clubs. I don't get a lot of loft from the beginning, right? So if I'm taking a 4-iron, I'm not going to get too much loft with it. But if I put it in the front of my stance a little bit, it's going to get higher in the air. So that's what I'm trying to explain with some of these laws and principles and how it's going to affect how you guys are doing it, right? So the main one I really want you guys to work on, though, is club face angle and where you're coming through. So you really got to worry about the steepness of your swing and the shallowness and where you're putting it in your stance, because that all affects club face angle and where the ball is going to go. But other than that,